Well, Marvel Studios seems to have suffered a pretty big blow, losing a longtime executive who has been with that company over 17 years. Let's talk about who's leaving the company, what they were in charge in, and why I think they're hitting the skids. Well, we got this report from The Hollywood Reporter, and it appears Marvel is indeed losing one of their high-profile executives. Now, apparently, Victoria Alonso has indeed left the company as of last Friday. Now, there's been no official word on the exact reason for this exit, and honestly, it's a bit of a shock because she has been part of the MCU since its inception in 2006. Now, in those days, she was head of visual effects and post-production, but in 2021, she was promoted to president of physical and post-production, visual effects, and animation production, all of which have had, well, some issues in the recent past. Now, Marvel hasn't released any official statements. Until an official statement for Marvel is released, or we start getting some details from various Hollywood insiders, Alonso's departure from Marvel Studios is going to be a pretty hot topic amongst many people. Now, when you get into that, I think there could be a couple of things going on here, and we're going to save the least likely for last, which is her political outlook. Now, when you look at her job title, she was actually in charge of visual effects and animation production. And honestly, that might be the exact reason why she has left Marvel Studios. Now, we don't know if she was fired or quit, but we do know that the visual effects at Marvel Studios over Phase 4 have suffered greatly. We've gotten multiple reports from various VFX houses that they were pretty unhappy working with Marvel, and that the work schedule was completely overwhelming and made a lot of them simply not want to work with Marvel Studios. We also got reports that Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania's visual effects suffered because many of the resources were allocated to Wakanda Forever. Considering how bad that did at the box office, this may very well have driven this part of the decision-making process. I do think there's a strong possibility she's basically a sacrificial lamb. More than likely, Marvel Studios is attempting to rebuild those relationships with these various VFX teams. And if the face of Marvel Studios was Miss Alonso, then it might be very possible that Marvel Studios has removed her from the position in order to make nice with these various studios that, quite honestly, Marvel needs to get the work done. Now, she was also head of animation, and this is also something that I think has been problematic for Marvel. We did get that first season of What If, but if you remember, it actually underdelivered. We only got 9 of the 10 episodes. Since then, we've gotten nothing. We're still waiting on What If Season 2, Spider-Man Freshman Year, along with X-Men 97 and Marvel Zombies. Now, we're hearing word about X-Men 97 maybe premiering this fall, but all of these projects have been in production for a really long time and have not come to fruition. Now, I do think maybe there's some problems with these projects, and ultimately Iger has made it pretty clear, if you're not carrying your water, you're going to be hitting the door, and that might have been exactly what happened. Now, there is a lot of people online that are suggesting that this has to do with politics. We tend to steer away from that on this channel a lot because really, quite honestly, it doesn't bring people together, it drives people apart. But Alonso has been a big part of Marvel Studios' inclusive efforts over the last couple of years. Now, many people have suggested that she pushed the franchises in a particular direction, and honestly, since she's been there from the beginning and those projects were fine then, I'm very unsure of her political influence over anything being developed at Marvel Studios. Now, she has gotten herself very much involved in Disney's dispute with Florida over the unofficially dubbed Don't Say Gay bill. And you might remember about a year or so ago, she said the X-Men name was outdated due to how many female superheroes were part of the team, drawing a lot of ire and backlash from fans. Her contributions to Marvel Studios over its lifespan have been pretty invaluable, being a co-producer very early on Iron Man and even an executive producer on the original Avengers film. So there's a lot of feathers in her cap, and her leaving is a blow to Marvel Studios. You have to be fair, some of the stuff Marvel has delivered in recent time has gotten some critical and or commercial disappointment, with Ant-Man being at the front of that stack. So with the current disarray that is Marvel Studios, the refocus of quality over quantity, well, she might have fallen into a trap there, and that might be ultimately why she was shown the door. I never like to see anybody lose their job, but honestly, whatever adjustments Marvel Studios needs to make that kind of realign the whole process, I ultimately will be okay with. I'm looking forward to finding out what the behind the scenes details on all of this is. Maybe then we'll really know what Marvel and Disney's take is on the whole process, but we'll have to wait and see.